All right, so quick update for July 15th. So I served Snowmass Police, I served the sheriff of Pitkin County, and both totally, pretty funny. It's pretty clear now why I'm meeting with the FBI tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Met with the FBI and the DOJ, Pam Bondi's people. I'm excited to work with them. I've been sending them paperwork for a while, but yeah, we have $1 billion in plus in financial crimes and fraud and perjury and everything else. So the 54 counties across Colorado, there are 7 major counties in which I deal with, and I'm dealing with probably all of them, but for now 7 are taking up the majority of our financial crimes. And Aspen, Snowmass, the judges, the sheriff, the police, there, as well as in Summit County, which is Breckenridge, Frisco, Keystone, Breckenridge, Frisco, Keystone areas, and then of course Vail is one of our main targets, and target of probably just $1 billion on its own of financial crimes. So the bottom line is, they've used everything imaginable to keep me from doing what I'm doing, which is claiming the property that I own, that I've created, that I've developed, and they've stole from me, and they've been a party to it, whether it be the police or the judges or the sheriff or whatever. Now, I'm not saying there's all the sheriffs are bad or all the police are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I was warned actually in Glenwood by the Glenwood sheriff when they were trying to steal some of our land here, which they did steal, but that was in a process. He actually called me and said, "Todd, Victor Mitchell is trying to have me serve the person that lives at 124 Riverbend, and I refused to do so because it looks fraudulent," and it was, and of course. And so he called me up and warned me, and that ended up saving one of the pet's lives. He ended up killing a pet, this guy Al Robertson, which is Victor Mitchell's right-hand guy, that showed up at gunpoint at this residence and literally broke in. That was what the sheriff warned me about. Broke in, changed the locks, put the animals outside in a rainstorm, ended up killing an animal, and prescriptions and all this shit that these people were renting, and they had no party to it. And they should. This was putting literally people over 65 at risk. I mean, it's elder abuse and a million other things, which I won't go into here, just for that one property. And we're talking about properties all over the state. I mean, I can't even list off all the properties. We have properties in Morrison, properties in Denver, properties in Bear Creek, properties in, Littleton, Bear Creek, Morrison, Evergreen, Denver, proper, North Denver, West Denver, Thornton, Westminster, Lakewood, Golden, Vail, Vail, Gypsum, the list goes on. Steamboat Springs, North Steamboat, Oak Creek, Stagecoach, Glenwood Springs, Carbondale, Snowmass. Anyway, a lot of property, a lot of ridiculousness. And so I'll be meeting with, I was really disappointed how the sheriff and the police were. That it's too bad of the corruption. I was hoping my town would at least have a little better sense. But when you go to someone and you're like, "Hey, we have a problem for 5 years," and they still maintain that they're totally corrupt and basically want to arrest you as soon as you bring up that there wasn't a fair trade, you should probably know that they're not coming back from that. These people are evil. They are not going to be good people overnight. You're not going to somehow wean them off the devil and bring them into the correctness, right? So that was my little awakening today, and it's a little frustrating, but hey, I'm due my ridiculousness for wanting people to be better than they are, and I say that with all humility, because I really was hoping that today would have gone better than it did. For them to say that receivership wipes out everything and then threatening me with arrest to go to my own property that I literally created from nothing with my own two hands. And there was a lot of people who helped me, mind you, but I was the one who carried most of the I-beams. I was the one who did most of the welding. I was the one who framed all of the walls, lined all the walls out, designed the place. Me and Gil did all the drafting, all the drawing. I did most of the demo. Actually, I did all the demo on the last one, which means I had to tear it all down. I tore it down 3 times because other people who built it did not build it correct. And I built correct. One thing about me is I am a builder, and I love building, and I build correct. That's why I was known as, you can look it up in the insurance, but I was the only person that the insurance companies could turn to. First Bank, Wells Fargo, a bunch of these banks. John Edmiston, that's how I met him. He's an engineer. Said, hey, I got an impossible project for you. Nobody can figure it out. It's been condemned here in Denver. If you can figure it out, I'll give you the other lot. I figured it out, no problem. But I was one that all the insurance carriers would go to and go, hey, we have a log home it's fallen apart, was built wrong, can't be fixed. Can you fix it? Of course, no problem, fix it. Jason and I fixed all these impossible homes that couldn't be fixed. And I'm not saying that to try to be egocentric or anything. I'm just saying that was one of my specialties. I would do the projects that nobody else could figure out. Iron Bridge Development, the golf course there, 56 homes. Developer went belly up. Engineers designed it all wrong. 3 engineering firms, I think, went bankrupt. I went in and literally told some of my students how to fix it and repair it. No problem. All 56 homes. I pulled a couple of them up myself. 24, 26 inches in settling, no problem. Some of those homes now, going on 5, 7 years later, haven't settled 1/8 of an inch, whereas your home, wherever it's built, I guarantee is settled 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So I'll go to show you what kind of quality we're talking about here. And I say that with all humility, because that's what I take pride in, is the quality of craftsmanship. But I'm an engineer and an architect by training, not by license. And I am a builder at heart. So I love to build. I love to see what you can do. I love to draft, and then the real world versus what you can draft. What you can visualize in your mind is one thing. What you can build in reality, you can do both. But what I'm saying is there is a crossover. That's why architects can never quite figure out how to communicate with builders, and builders can't ever. They're always bitching about architects and engineers because they don't understand the actual process. Whereas I've always been a party to both. That's why I can see it clearly and understand the process from both ends, and therefore visualize and provide the process and protocol to bring that into reality. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting to is this. All these were our creations. And to be stripped of all these creations, and then to be falsely accused of 1 million crimes, in which I have served time for, which are all fraud, all of them. I'm reopening all the cases under what's called a writ of de novo. And a writ of de novo, if there is a civil rights violation, which there was, of course here's a civil rights violation for you. If you're ever coerced, that's a civil rights violation. If there's prejudice, that's civil rights. If there's RICO, where there's 2 people conspiring against you, like 2 bankers conspiring to steal your property without giving you any consideration, it's called RICO. It's a RICO Act. It's a violation not only of your civil rights, but it's also a RICO violation. Anyway, that's writ of de novo, and that opens any case. If your rights have been violated, which I've proven, They've been violated. They've used all these. I've let them for the last 33 years run ramshot over me so that they wouldn't see what hit them. And now here I am. Now I'm standing up and I am showing them exactly who they are by providing a mirror, a reflective surface for those that have done me wrong. Anyway, it's good to be on the side of the light, I can tell you that. But it's dark days for these beings and these creatures that have done us all wrong. And if you're out there and you've been abused, or you're one of my investors and have felt the abuse that has been directed at me and you've been run ramshot, I can tell you, it doesn't matter if it was me or another person. Whenever there's a lot of money involved, if it's $1 million, it's one thing. If it's 10 million, it's another thing. If it's 100 million, it's another thing. And when you get into the kind of money that we were creating, it becomes real dark, real corrupt, real fast. And it didn't corrupt me, I have no problem with it, but you could see just almost like the snow. When snow falls, except the opposite, because snow is like pure and beautiful. The snowfall, it covers everything, and everything's peaceful and quiet. With evil and greed, the money and the consumption and the desire and the envy and the greed, it's kind of like that. It covers everything in this dark, bizarro, you see it in people's eyes, this little glint. And I would always joke with, Christine and my other business partners, Jason and stuff, that you can see the little twinkle in people's eye, and you can see the kind of their head spin a little bit and their aura change right in front of you. And it's the craziest thing. There's only a few people that I've ever seen that are immune, like myself and Jason and Christine. John Pennington's immune. There's very, very few people that are immune to it. And it's pretty wild once you understand what that is. And most of my good investors are immune to it. We're immune to it and are immune to it. They're not corrupted by the desire and the envy and the greed and the want more, want, and the strange thing that is. It is in a type of evil and darkness. And all I can say is this: when I looked into the sheriff today and the sheriff yesterday and the police today, Brian's eyes, I mean, it's hilarious. You can just see the little, you can see it in their eye. You can see the darkness. It's like, oh my God. But anyway, so unfortunately, that was their last notice. So now it's going out this week. All the notices are going out to all counties, to all facilities, to the judges, the sheriffs, the police, the clerks and recorders, the bankers and their attorneys, everybody that was a party to the frauds and the corruption is being notified. And then it goes on a 45-day. So by the end of August, I think it's September 7th, they all clear. When I say they all clear, what I mean is there's a bunch of criminal cases in there that are being flipped, which is all the corruption they put on me to try to keep me corralled so that I couldn't come after them. So now we're flipping all those and holding those guys all to account, going back 33 years. And then we're bringing up all of the real estate development cases, the banks and the bank cases, which is all across the state, investments all across the state. So unfortunately, I was hoping that we would see some cash flow from Terrace a little sooner, but it's getting rolled into this entire DOJ, Department of Justice, and FBI, and then of course the Secret Service are involved because it has to do with the money. And I mean, there's 24 agencies involved. So all I can say is I was hoping to get you guys some money sooner than later, but it looks like at least 3 to 6 more months probably for me to be able to take take the property and begin to manage it correctly. It's probably going to have to go through another at least 30 to 60 days in the process to get the eviction qualified and out through the these federal authorities, because the local authorities are totally corrupt. And today was just hilarious when I was like, hey man, there wasn't any consideration. You can't sell something without both parties receiving consideration. No, there's receivership. I'll arrest you. I'll arrest you. I'll arrest you. That's the really hurting for lines there, buddy. You told me now quite a few times that you'll arrest me, and let's come up with some new material. Maybe throw a little joke in there. Maybe something about the weather. I don't know, man. You're really hurting on the communication. That's all I got to say. Your social skills are limited at best. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so that's where we're at. So I do apologize for the extended delay, but that's your update for July 15th, 2025. But know this, I do have an 8:30 with the FBI tomorrow. I did have a good meeting with the DOJ today, and this is all been on file. This is all being recorded. And this is going back 33 years. I mean, this is like the setup of setups. Anyway, we'll fill you back in tomorrow.